David Brinkley or any of the greats like Peter Jennings. So why are they carrying the water for the Iranian regime on this one?
It's kind of depressing, Laura, to listen to the angle and see that, because that's not, in my experience. I've been a journalist for more than 30 years, and I've honestly never seen anything like it. I mean, what about the voice of the Iraqi people? What about the voice of the Yemenis and the Syrians and all of the people across the region who have been celebrating Qasem Soleimani's death? Yeah, you won't see them out on the streets of Tehran, right? You're not going to see this great display because they're afraid. They're still afraid of what Iran's proxy forces and what the Revolutionary Guards are capable of.
Dinesh, this is quite something. You've been cataloging the media's assault. Sadly, not everyone in the media, I want to say that. There are still some good reporters out there. But this does take it to an entirely new level, does it not?
Yeah, there's a little part in all of us that wants to believe that when there's this sort of an international crisis and when there's this sort of a monster in the case of Soleimani, that the United States will come together and that we can leave politics at the water's edge. I think we've reached a point where that's not the case. I don't think that the press is so much sympathetic to Iran or sympathetic to Soleimani so much as they are hostile to Trump. So they view, you may say, Soleimani as the far enemy. If Obama had taken him out, there would be hosannas, celebrations, Obama's a genius. But since it's Trump, they want to mobilize the Soleimani assassination against Trump. So they are, in a way, willing to go into bed with the far enemy to defeat the near enemy, who is a greater threat to their agenda here at home.
And the Twitter accounts for American news outlets also push the Iranian line. The New York Times tweeting this sympathetic testimonial: knowing General Soleimani was out there made me feel safer, said a student about the commander killed in the American drone strike. He was like a security umbrella above our country. Time magazine writing something similar. If you need help talking with the children in your life about the aftermath of Iranian General Soleimani's killing, Time for Kids has a guide to explain the topic. Lara, you've spent so much time in the region. You've sacrificed personally at the hands of some of these brutal thugs. Is this imaginable to you? I mean, we do have people in the media who have integrity, but this is just, as Dinesh said, the marinating in the hatred of Trump subsumes everything else.
Well, perhaps what American journalists are forgetting at this moment is things like, for example, when I was living in Baghdad for 5 years, right? One of the Revolutionary Guards proxy forces, one of the Iranian militias in Iraq, their task was to hunt down every Iraqi pilot that flew missions in the Iran-Iraq war. And that commander, who was trained in Iran, who was loyal to Iran, who was run by Qasem Soleimani, he killed, according to the U.S. Embassy, 2,500 Sunnis. And his preferred method of killing them was to drill holes in their heads while they were alive. We would go into mosques where there, Shiite mosques, where there would be meat hooks on the wall that the Iranian militias used to hang people there. And, I remember interviewing a young Iraqi boy whose father was taken in the night by an Iranian militia, and Iranian-backed militia. And I never forget him holding my hand and saying that when they took his father from his bed, he had no shoes. And he ran and got his father's shoes, and he ran after him. And the Iranian militia who were leading his father out said he won't need shoes where he's going. And the body of their father and a number of other Iraqis, like so many, turned up in a